So I guess I thought it might be a good idea just to kind of have a bit of an overview of what actually is a foundation year, just in case, this is the first time that you're really finding out about foundation year courses. The main thing to know, firstly, is, for the idea about a foundation year is that they're a preparatory course, and they're really, designed for people who maybe don't have the grades required for immediate entry onto a degree course, or perhaps you're not predicted the grades to get onto a particular course. And in that instance, you can often take a foundation year. And the foundation year course really helps you prepare for degree level studies. It's going to help develop your understanding of subject area before you progress onto it. And the foundation year for the Arts and Humanities course leads on to a huge range of different programs. Maddie and David are going to go on, in a bit of detail about that, but some can include English language, literature, journalism, languages and performance, a multitude of different programs that you can progress onto. Foundation years generally as well at the University of Leeds have lower entry requirements as well than progressing directly onto a degree course. Because it's a preparatory year to prepare you and equip you with the knowledge and skills that you need to succeed on a particular degree, then, for that reason, it has lower entry requirements. And I'll show you a bit of information about that in the next slide. And once you progress, once you've completed your foundation year, you'll then progress onto the first year of your relevant degree. So when you finish and you graduate, you will have a degree in English, a degree in journalism, for example. It won't be a degree in Arts and Humanities. That's the foundation year course to get you onto your degree program. And you'll be able to access everything that any other student would while you're studying a foundation year. So all the same support, all the same resources like the library, things that the Students' Union, you can get there as well, will all be accessible to you as well. So you'll be exactly the same as any other student on a course at the university. And I guess it's good to know who foundation years are for. Well, really, they're for anybody who feels they need that additional year of support to prepare them for a degree course. At the University of Leeds in the Lifelong Learning Centre, where the Arts and Humanities course is based, there's lots of amazing support that you can access from Maddie and David, but also from our skills team as well, who can help you with information around putting together essays, for example, writing bibliographies. But then we also have a great student support team with Paul Devlin, who works at the Life and Learning Centre as well, who can support you with any other issues that you may have. And as I mentioned, it's lower entry requirements than progressing straight onto your chosen degree. Just to give you an example of that, for the Arts and Humanities Foundation year, a typical offer is currently set at CDD, or for BTEC, it could be merit pass. So quite different. And if you were wanting to, say, go directly onto a degree in, let's say, for example, English literature or journalism or history. Now, we do accept other courses as well. This is by no means an exhaustive list. So other courses such as Access to Higher Education Diploma are also accepted. And if you are an adult learner, perhaps you're somebody who's 21 and above, please do get in contact with us if you want any more information, because often we can use what's called our alternative entry scheme, where we might consider your life experience as well. So if you do feel that's relevant to you, please do get in contact with us. And we do have a wide mix of ages and students who are studying our foundation years at Leeds. We have students who may be finishing sixth form or college and going on to study at university, and then we have a lot of people, adults, who come into study a bit later on in life, and people in their 20s, 30s, 40s and above. So it really is a real mix of different people that you'll find on your foundation year course. And just to very briefly mention as well, I spoke a bit about our academic entry requirements, but we also have a widening participation entry criteria as well for our Arts and Humanities course. So as well as meeting our entry requirements for the grades, we also ask that you meet one of the following. You either grew up in public care, your permanent address is in an area with low participation in higher education, or in the year you took your GCSEs, your school rates were below the national average. So not your own, but the actual school you went to is below the national average. Now, I can understand that often you might not be sure of this, and I really don't want anybody to rule themselves out if you think this might be relevant to you. And in that case, I would say, please do get in contact with us at the Lifelong Learning Centre. So that email address, which is at the bottom, lifelonglearning@leeds.ac.uk, and we can look into it for you. But just to give you that information, it's all on our course information web pages on our website as well. So final thing to just to mention before I hand over to David and Maddie, and they can talk about all the great things that you're going to learn on the Arts and Humanities Foundation Year course and the great programs that you can progress onto. I thought it's worth just me mentioning about student finance as well, because, you know, it might be a bit of a concern for some people. And the thing to know about this is that by studying a foundation year doesn't in any way negatively affect a student finance application. You're still eligible for the same support as everybody else. This class is the normal duration of your studies. So you still get your maintenance loan, that living cost loan from Student Finance England if you're eligible, and then any additional extras like childcare support or disability grants. So don't think that by doing a foundation year, you're in any way negatively impacting your student finance application. You're certainly not. And we also have support for students at the University of Leeds through our bursary as well, Leeds Bursary. So that is something that you might want to have a look at as well. This is specifically for students from low-income backgrounds, and it could be additional financial support up to £3,000 a year while you're studying, on top of anything else that you can get. And there are some fee discounts and bursaries as well linked to the foundation year course. So have a look on our website. I'll stick a link into the chat as well, but just to know that it in no way negatively impacts you by studying the foundation year at all with regards to student finance. And with that in mind, I will pass on to David and Maddie, and they can introduce themselves and talk about the course.
Hi everyone, thanks John, thank you very much for that introduction and handing over to myself and David. So it's great to welcome everybody to the session this evening. My name is Maddie Newman and I'm Programme Manager for Arts and Humanities at the Lifelong Learning Centre, and I look after the Arts and Humanities Foundation Year programme. I work with my colleague David, who's also here, and other colleagues from the Lifelong Learning Centre in our Arts and Humanities area, but also in our skills team and other parts of the centre to deliver the programme. So I'll hand over to David so he can introduce himself.
Hello, my name's David Ibbotson, and I'm one of the teaching fellows on the Arts and Humanities course. So I'll be I teach on most of the modules, I think, and I help Maddie run the course.
Great stuff. So we're going to talk to you a little bit about the programme in general this evening, and also the modules, and we'll be able to tell you a bit more about the different kind of topics and ideas that we study within the different elements of the foundation year. But we'll talk a bit more generally, if that's okay. John, are we all right to move on to our next slide? So just to give you a bit of a general introduction to the foundation year programme, obviously we're the first year of a extended degree programme. And the foundation year level 0 of the extended degree is based in the Lifelong Learning Centre. Students spend a year with us where they take 5 Lifelong Learning Centre modules, which we'll be talking through a bit later on. And they also get to take a module called a discovery module in the area that they want to progress into after the foundation year. So from the Arts and Humanities Foundation Year programme, we have a real wide range of progression options. We progress both into the Faculty of Arts, Humanities and Cultures, and also one of our programmes here at the Lifelong Learning Centre, the BA Professional Studies. But in terms of the Faculty of Arts, Humanities and Cultures, there's 9 academic schools and a wealth of programmes kind of in each area. So there are, you know, very kind of diverse possibilities for the degrees that you can go on to, and that means that we have a really exciting kind of opportunity to learn together with learners who have different progression interests. So just to give you a bit of a sense of the kind of routes available from our programme, we have progression into programmes across School of English, School of History, Philosophy, Religion and the History of Science, Languages, Cultures and Societies, that includes both subjects across modern languages, but also areas like classical civilization, ancient history. We also have progression into the BA Liberal Arts, and all joint honours combinations that kind of map across those different subjects. So most of those programmes in that kind of area are available to us. There's only one or two across the university that we don't have progression into within the Arts and Humanities and Cultures faculty. So you can see that encompasses all those other areas such as linguistics and phonetics, philosophy, theology and religious studies, as well as the subjects that I've already mentioned. And they have a particular progression pass mark, which you can see kind of listed there, and we can talk a bit more about how progression works later on. But we also progress into the other schools within the faculty, which we'll talk you through in a moment. And I think that's in our next slide there. So the other kind of range of programmes that we progress into are schools that have maybe more practice-based kind of degree programmes, picking up other sides of the arts and humanities kind of options within the University of Leeds. So we progress there into areas like design, fine art, history of art and cultural studies, media and communications, music, performance and cultural industries. And within that, you know, there's many different programmes that allow learners to sometimes kind of connect subjects like history of art and cultural studies. We've also got a programme that's combined there with cultural studies and media studies. So there's lots of different kind of options. And I think now we've had learners go into all of those academic schools right across the faculty over the years in which we've been running the programme, which is really exciting. And you'll see there we've got a slightly different progression requirement for those subjects, but they often have an additional kind of requirement around an interview or perhaps a portfolio for a more creative subject. And obviously, if you've got any specific questions about the routes within there, we can, you know, answer questions you might have this evening. And also we've got things like the course finder at the university, which allows you to look at the wide range of options within the different academic schools that we progress into. Okay, so David, I don't know if you want to say a bit more about that kind of progression process side of things.
So when you finish the foundation year, the idea is that you kind of progress seamlessly into your degree. You don't have to kind of reapply, you don't go back into UCAS. But to progress into your future school, you need to get a minimum average grade across all your modules. So we've seen the two different slides there. The first one was subjects and schools that require an average grade of 60. And the second one was schools and subjects that require an average grade of 50 at the end of the foundation year. That second group also may require, like Maddie said, looking at a portfolio of work if it's a more creative module or subject, or a brief interview with the future department as well. And then if you meet that grade requirement, that progression process is just a change of course rather than kind of a reapplication. You also, as well as the modules that we run in-house, as foundation year modules, you also do what we call a discovery module. And this is either a one big kind of 20 credit module or two smaller 10 credit modules, some departments work differently, from your future academic school. So while most of your modules are with us for the LLC on the foundation year, one of your modules, either in the first term or the second term, will be in your future department. And that's for a couple of reasons. It does a couple of really neat things. One is that it allows you to pursue your specialist subject. Because on the foundation year module, we have people progressing onto several different schools, lots of different degree types. The discovery module allows you to, you know, focus in on what your specialist degree subject is, whether that's history, English, art, whatever. But it also means that when you do progress and you start your degree after the foundation year, you've already been to the department, you've had lectures there, you've had seminars, you know how it works, so it's not too much of a shock. It's not a surprise, you're used to it already. Thanks, John.
Okay, so we're going to talk a little bit more now about the modules and the specific areas that we explore on the foundation year. And because we progress into that wide variety of subjects, our modules are designed to be interdisciplinary, which means that they look at topics from a wide range of disciplines and perspectives. We also structure our modules around concepts and ideas to give us that opportunity to kind of look at things in quite a broad way, but in a way that we've designed to connect in with the progression routes that we have at Leeds. And you can see here in the slide, we've kind of got a bit of an overview of our modules. And David and I are going to talk you through those in a moment. The module there, the modules that are listed really kind of allow us to pick up on the subjects that connect into, you know, all our academic schools across the faculty, and they also give us that opportunity to embed different approaches to studying arts and humanities at undergraduate level, and also skills support within all of our modules. And each of our modules across the year do have an embedded strand of skills workshops, and those have been designed to enable you to develop your skills, particularly for the assessments that you're working on in your module, but also to think about your skills development in a step-by-step way across the year. So you're moving through your foundation, your journey, as you head towards the level 1 of the BA programme. So our first module that we deliver in semester 1 is Religion, Politics and Society. And this module is a module which gives us the opportunity to think about those different themes and how they kind of interconnect. We also look at Leeds as a case study and have the opportunity to explore a range of contemporary issues within the context of religion, politics and society. In the module, because it takes place in semester 1, one of the elements that we explore is a reflection on the chaplaincy at the University of Leeds, which is chaplaincy that's there for students across the city of Leeds, other university institutions as well. And we have the opportunity to visit the chaplaincy, to meet with the chaplains and reflect on kind of the university and the city as a multi-faith city. And this feeds into a reflective blog assignment. And we also have an exam element for this module, which kind of allows learners to explore the wide range of topics we cover, and some of the more current kind of thinking around topics like religion and the environment and other themes. So that's one of the sort of semester 1 modules that also has an introduction to reflective writing and to exams and kind of online assessment as well.
Okay, the next module we're going to look at here, which is also a first semester module, is called Modernity and Postmodernity. And it's quite a conceptual module. It looks at ideas of what is modern, modernity was, or what people thought was modern about the early 20th century. So just before the First World War, in between the 2 world wars. And we look at examples from film, literature, art, music, architecture, philosophy, photography, to see how people were getting to grips with what they thought was new about the world at the start of the 20th century. And then that moves in to, can we stay on the previous slide there, John? Sorry. That moves into post-modernity. So after the Second World War, in the latter half, the second half of the 20th century, you start getting a rise of postmodern art. People dealing with ideas of globalization, of consumerism, of mass production. And we look at how different forms of artistic expression show those ideas as well. And that's the assessment on this is made up of an essay and a sort of a kind of a web-based exercise where you have to write a sort of a blog entry for an online museum. And on the next slide, thanks, John, here's an example of the sort of thing we might look at. So this is some kind of artwork by the artist Andy Warhol, where he did kind of prints of multicolored soup cans, and it kind of represents how art is changing, how art is becoming mass produced, how things are kind of made to manufacture and things like that. So just an example of one of the things we look at on the module. Okay. The third first semester module, and in fact this is a module that goes on the first semester and the second semester, is called Image, Music and Text. And that does a couple of different things. First off, it serves as an introduction to how we might read different things at university. That sounds a bit obvious, but what I mean is how we might analyze or study things in a more academic way. So how do you read a piece of writing and break it down, see what it's telling you? How do you look at a photograph or a movie and see how it's trying to get you to think in certain ways? And then that moves into an opportunity to work on a creative project of your own, using the ideas that we look at on the module, the critical ideas. So I've had people make websites, put together podcasts, do photo journals or pieces of creative writing, and then it involves a more traditional critical essay on that piece of work as well. So one of the things we look at in the first semester, for example, are bits of writing, bits of text. We do actually kind of look at a section of A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens. So for example, this description of Ebenezer Scrooge, which I really like. He was a tight-fisted, hand at the grindstone Scrooge, a squeezing, wrenching, grasping, scraping, clutching, covetous old sinner, self-contained and solitary as an oyster. You know, we talk about things like, well, what does it mean to describe him as an oyster? What does it mean to say he's got frost on him? We kind of break down the language and how it's telling us a story in that way. Thanks, Jim.
Okay, so we're going to talk a bit more now about the kind of second semester modules and things that we are kind of actually working on and thinking about at the moment on the programme. And in the second semester, we move into the other kind of series of modules that we deliver alongside image, music and text. But we move to consider the more historical module through the Renaissance and also a contemporary module through the theme of communications, and there's some nice connections between those two modules. So we're going to talk about each of those now.
Okay, the Renaissance module. I love this module. So this is a pretty straightforward kind of historical period module where we look at the English Renaissance period under Queen Elizabeth and James I, so the end of the 16th century and start of the 17th century. And again, we look at the textual evidence from the period to see what people were thinking about, what were the political concerns, what were people worried about. So we look at history, culture, art, historical topics, poetry. We look at key people, key examples of art and literature from the period. We also, at the end of the module, visit the special collections at the Brotherton Library, which has some kind of old Renaissance and medieval texts as well. And we have lots of specialist guest speakers as well on the module who are experts in their field. There's a group presentation, which is one of the assessment types, and a 2-hour exam. It's more like to be a sort of a do-at-home 48-hour kind of assessment now, rather than a kind of in a specific room exam. But yeah, if we go on to the next slide, so this is an example of the sort of thing we look at. This is quite a famous painting. I can see Lou and Sadie both smiling here. I hope that's a good sign because they're both doing the module right now. This is a portrait of Queen Elizabeth. And there's just so much going on. She's got a hand on the globe. She wants to like go overseas and control the other parts. There's that mermaid on her left-hand side. She's covered in kind of jewelry and pearls, and the golden the English fleet is over her right-hand shoulder, but the wrecked Spanish fleet is over her left-hand shoulder. So we look at evidence like this and we try to break down what was going on at the time and what does this painting say about it as well. Thank you.
Okay, so we have that historical module and investigation of that kind of moment in time alongside our communications module, which brings us a bit more up to date in our thinking. And this module gives us the opportunity to think about communications as a field of study in the arts and humanities, but also one that allows us to think about kind of recent developments and changes in communication, particularly in the moment of new media and digital media. Also, we've spent some time recently reflecting on kind of our experience of using different communication formats over recent years in the pandemic context, and using more kind of online formats. So we spend some time thinking about kind of theories and ideas in media and communications, and also developing our skills to analyse media text and think about kind of current issues and debates at this moment in time in the media. And in terms of our assessment for this module, we have an individual presentation that looks at kind of themes around communication now and particular kind of case study topic areas. And we also have a slightly longer essay. We're building up our essay writing skills in this semester. And this essay explores an analysis of a media story through different media types. And we spent some time kind of working together on thinking about how we analyse different types of media content. And Also within this module, we're kind of thinking about how we use different ideas and theories. And in our next slide, we've kind of got an example of some of the topics we've been considering, and we've been looking at this over recent weeks actually on the course, but thinking about, you know, how we kind of encounter news, thinking about different sort of theories and strategies we have to analyze news content, and, you know, thinking about kind of the different kind of frames and narratives that might exist within the media. So we do quite a bit of work using primary sources and also secondary sources, and building our kind of reading and analysis skills in this module. So I think we've covered all our modules here in terms of what we deliver at the LLC, and that's also taught alongside the discovery module which we mentioned, and learners have the opportunity to take their discovery module either in semester 1 or semester 2. Sometimes they're also year-long modules, and that kind of complements the wider course by having the opportunity to do that more subject-specific learning and experience learning outside the Lifelong Learning Centre across the university. Another strand of what we offer within the foundation year is support, which is built into the programme in lots of different ways. We talked a bit about kind of academic skills support, which is embedded right through our modules, but also through our support within the Lifelong Learning Centre skills team. But we also have an academic personal tutor who is there to support learners right across the year. This is something which is part of the wider university support, but for us on foundation year, it has a particular focus. The academic personal tutor role is there to support learners with their academic progress and skills development, and also to be there to kind of offer that you know, guidance, listening and support, and to support learners to connect in with wider kind of aspects of support within the university. And you can see here in the slide kind of links into things like careers guidance as well, and, you know, thinking about independent learning skills and how learners are kind of building those through the year. So that is integral to the foundation year. And it's also something we connect into our progression process. So we support learners with that kind of journey to progression, and also kind of think about their sort of subject specialist interests as part of that aspect. Okay, and I think that kind of takes us through to our next slide, if that's all right. And that's just to sort of come back to that study skills support, really. So it's embedded in all of our modules. We don't have a standalone skills module, but it's something we teach within our modules, and we also have colleagues from the skills team who come in from time to time and take us through different aspects of skills support, as well as being there through kind of workshops and one-to-one appointments that learners are able to book into through the year. And that's obviously a really important element of the foundation year, and that preparation for study on the degree.
Thanks very much, everybody. Sorry about that. I'm having a few technical issues tonight with my computer. But thanks very much, Maddie and David, for sharing some information there about the modules and the content and the support that you can gain. So hopefully you've managed to get a bit of an idea of what it's like to study on the course, and the support that you're going to receive. One thing we wanted to do as well is to provide a bit of information from a student perspective as well, so you can really find out what it's like to actually be on the course from a current student as well. And we're really lucky to have two with us tonight. We've got Sadie and Lou, who are going to share, if that's okay, with them, and share a little bit about their experiences currently studying on the foundation year, how they found things, and what they're going to go and progress on to next as well, and how, you know, the support and the things that they've learned in the foundation year have hopefully prepared them for that. So can I ask, Sadie, is it okay if you go first? Is that okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
Brilliant, thank you.
Lovely, thank you. So yeah, I'm Sadie and I am 39 and I am a single parent. In 2016, I went through some pretty significant life events that kind of led me to reassess what I was doing with my life. I'd attended uni for a couple of months when I was 18, but kind of due to personal circumstances and some undiagnosed mental health issues, it didn't really work out at the time. And I kind of always felt like that ship had sailed and that I'd missed my opportunity to go to uni and kind of complete a degree. At the time, I was working for a charity and we had links with the Lifelong Learning Centre, and we would often send our volunteers along to attend taster sessions. And a number of our volunteers went on to kind of complete degrees through the Lifelong Learning Centre. And all of a sudden, I just kind of thought, why am I not doing this? I'm sending people to do this, yet I kind of didn't feel like I could access it myself. So I attended a session like this. I then took part in like a course called Jumpstart, which had some taster sessions for all the different subjects. As soon as I was involved with Jumpstart, I had amazing support from the people who were running it, including some really in-depth support with my actual application to UCAS, which is quite overwhelming as well when you've been out of education for such a long time to have to go through such a formal process. I'd already connected with a few people on Jumpstart, like Lou, and they also progressed onto the foundation year. So when we started, I felt like I already knew a couple of people, but getting to know the other people on that course hasn't been an issue at all. Everyone's so friendly, so open. We're a small group and we've kind of got to know each other really well. And I kind of feel like I'll actually be really sad when we move on to our degrees and I won't be kind of having sessions with them, you know, on a weekly basis. The foundation year has improved my confidence so much. I really do struggle with self-worth. Maddie and David will tell you that as well. I'm always going on, you know, I'm very unsure of myself at times, but my confidence has struggled so much, has gone up so much. There's so many improvements, and the way that we're treated by our tutors really does help. They're encouraging and never make me feel like what I'm saying isn't of value. Having come from a really difficult work environment, it really is a breath of fresh air to be here. I'm sorry, my daughter's just next to me at the moment because she wants to be involved as well. But I'm the course rep for my year as well. So I support my fellow students with any issues that they may be experiencing and ensure that their voices are heard. And we have a real active role in shaping the future of the Lifelong Learning Centre. The modules we have and that we're still studying, they did sound daunting initially. And I'm sure you kind of probably feel that way, but they're broken down into really good manageable sections. There's so much guidance when it comes to the assignments and assessments, and it's a real collaborative experience. We have really clear guidance, but we have a lot of freedom as well to kind of pursue our own interests and tailor it to the kind of route that we want to follow as we progress. I've also had really good support from within the LLC, not just from Maddie and David and the tutors, but from other people as well, helping with queries around financial difficulties and accessing mental health support. As I mentioned at the start, I am a single parent of 2 children. In fact, one of them is kind of dancing next to me at the moment because she wants my attention. It's not always easy juggling the responsibilities, but I actually feel like I've got a better relationship with the children now because I'm so much happier and I'm in a supportive and really positive environment, and it just makes such a difference. And also the LLC put on some really good family friendly events as well. We've done an art tour around campus. I brought them in to a fun day where we played games. So they're really involved as well. And I feel it is a family friendly environment. Yes. She's taken this opportunity to ask me for sweets. In terms of progression, I'm going to be going on to study liberal arts in September, which is like a multidisciplinary degree, very much like the foundation year, kind of similar subjects. And yeah, I'm really excited to go on and to study that.
Oh, brilliant, Sadie. Thank you so much for sharing. Absolutely brilliant. And yeah, great that your daughter wanted to get involved then as well. I usually do these sessions from my house, and they always fall in the time when my daughter goes to bed. So usually there's lots of crying that you can hear behind me, but I'm in the office today, so there's none of that. But yeah, thank you so much for sharing your kind of your journey, how you found out about the course and the support that you've received. I think you summed it up brilliantly as well. You know, it really is a great place to start your learning journey in the Lifelong Learning Centre. as Sadie said, you know, it's not just Maddie and David. You know, there'll be amazing support that you receive from them. There's lots of other people to help with any of the queries that you can have around what support you can access, financial support, how's that going to work, and other things as well. And just to mention, the Lifelong Learning Centre at the University of Leeds, for anybody who's not aware, is a physical space as well. So we have it's called a resource area. It's a place where you can actually come and study, and you know, it's a place which is dedicated for lifelong learning students and mature learners, people 21 and above. And you know, often we find that people continue to study there, even when they've progressed on to, you know, the School of you know, of English, or they've gone on to study something like liberal arts like Sadie's doing. They'll still come back to the Lifelong Learning Centre to study in that kind of physical space. So thank you so much for sharing. And we've got Lou as well. So Lou, if you're okay just kind of sharing about your experiences and what you're going to be going on to, that'd be absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Sadie. That was awesome. How can I follow this? You've covered everything. That was brilliant. Yeah, hi, I'm Lou. I'm 40, so I'm another older student, and I'm a mum to 3 children who are all sort of in various stages of schooling at the moment. My prior contact with education is that I left school very early. I left school at 13 because I had quite a chaotic home life, and I found it incredibly difficult to get back in after I missed that window. So I had no qualifications, and I sort of navigated employment at entry level for, you know, throughout my career. But in 2020, when it was lockdown, in a way I took advantage of online only learning, and I got signed up with Leeds City College, and I did my GCSE maths and English online, and it was really helpful because it made me aware that I could learn, that there was nothing stopping me from keeping going. Like Sadie said, I went on Jumpstart as well, and it was fantastic. It was just visually, I could see immediately that I wasn't going to be the only older person that was studying, that there wasn't a set type of mature student. There's just all kinds of people. I've met all kinds of people at the Lifelong Learning Centre. What it's given me, this course, it's given me so much confidence and just belief in my ability. It's given me practice in all the skills that I'm going to need when I go on to my degree. It's given me practice in researching, in close reading, in critical thinking, in reflective writing, essay writing, evidencing, referencing. The image, music, text modules, one I've really enjoyed because it's given me a chance to work creatively, which no one's ever said to me, go away and do this creative project. It's been fantastic. I've really, really loved every minute of it. Like Maddie mentioned, we work in an interdisciplinary method, and that's really good because for me, it's really helped me understand things in quite a deep way, because we're looking at it from so many different angles. We're looking at like maybe art and history and literature and religion and lots of things that if you've been out of education for a really long time, you don't maybe get the opportunity to think about all the time. It's been really, really fun. We are given the skills to plan ahead for our assessments and for our work, where we're not thrown in at the deep end. We're given loads and loads of guidance. The support that they've given us has been amazing. We get loads of regular check-ins and tutorials. The tutors are brilliant. To be honest, I can email. Sometimes you just want an answer to a question, don't you? You just think, oh, I'd just love to know that. And they've been fantastic in that if I've ever had a question, they've generally come back to me really quickly, and it's set my mind at rest. The Lifelong Learning Centre has been really good with helping understand the financial applications that you might need to make as well. That was really important to me, because before I came into this year, I was working full time, and I thought, how will this work? How can I pay my bills? How can I, continue to look after my family if I'm you know, if I'm going to suddenly become a student. And they really held my hand all the way through that and made it just as simple as it could possibly be. The other thing that I really appreciate is that we're asked for our feedback continuously, all the way through. We're asked how we felt about a session that we've had, or how things have gone, and we get a real sense that that is taken very seriously and is used to like Sadie said, to shape the future sessions. As I mentioned, I'm a mum to 3 children, and I also I still work full time, although flexibly, around this course. I would say that I wouldn't honestly recommend doing that. To be honest, I would say you really owe yourself the space to be able to sit with some of the great ideas that you'll take in and that you'll learn. But you know, some people will still need to work maybe a few hours in here and there. And I would say if you are prepared to work hard, then it is totally doable. But yeah, it's good to give yourself space for the ideas, and actually just to hang out on the campus. It is a fantastic campus and there's so much good stuff going on there. And the student union's wonderful. They're really communicative as well. They get in touch and they let you know when things are on. You are absolutely like was said, part of the university. We're not some sort of unit that's tucked off to one side. We are absolutely part of the university. Yeah, go for it, absolutely.
Oh, thank you so much, Lou, as well, for summing that up absolutely brilliantly. You know, you both made amazing points, I think, and summed up, you know, why people should think about foundation year so well, much better than I did at the start, much better. And as you said as well, just, you know, if you get a chance to come along to the campus and you haven't before, yeah, take it. You know, even if there's nothing on that day, just come along to the campus and have a walk around, you know, and get a feel for it. I actually think sometimes it's better to come on a normal day when students are just, you know, milling about, going to and from classes, than it is sometimes even to go on like an open day, you know, where it's a special event, because you get a feel for what it's like to be on that campus. And it is you know, it's a public space as well, so feel free to come along and just have a walk about, you know, and see what you think, really. And to pick up on another thing that Lou said, you know, you will be just like every other student when you're on your foundation year course. There's no difference. There's no distinction on what you can do and what you can't do and what you can access or can't access. You are a student just like everybody else. And you know, library facilities, any kind of services or facilities that anybody else gets to access, you also get to access that as well. And often, you know, I've done a few of these sessions now and talked to quite a few different foundation year students on different programs at different stages as well. Some of them may be in the first year, second year, or final year of their studies, and pretty much every single one of them has said the support they received on their foundation year set them up incredibly well for when they went on to their degree. And they actually found that, you know, I found, speaking to a lot of people, that actually the support that they received means they're in a better position when they start their degree course than some of the students who are starting without having done a foundation year, because you already know how to put an essay together, you already know how to reference, put together an annotated bibliography, for example. You're familiar with the library and the facilities in the universities. So it really does give you that head start and that additional, you know, support to go on to a huge range of courses on the Arts and Humanities programme. Sorry, Lou, you probably did mention it, and I'm really sorry, but what course did you say you were progressing on to?
I didn't, I just forgot all about that. I don't know why.
Doesn't matter.
So, well, when I came into the foundation year, I thought I had a really clear idea what I wanted to do. I wanted to do English language and literature, but part of what I've been given the space to do while I've been on this year is to really think about actually what do I want to spend the next 3 years doing. I haven't gone very far from that original idea, but I want to look at English and I want to look at comparative literature as well. So I want to look at literature from around the world to get just that really broad idea of what's going on everywhere. So yeah, that's part of what I've been given this year.
Oh, brilliant, thank you. And Sadie was liberal arts, wasn't it? So, you know, you can see that people are looking to progress on to quite, you know, different programs as well. And there'll be some people thinking about journalism and all the other programs David and Maddie spoke about. And the support you're going to receive is still going to set you up to thrive on all those different degree courses.